sports is not just about Messi and Ronaldo. Sports is not just about LeBron James. It's not just about Roger Federer. I mean, the umpire is also making money from sports.
Yeah.
The ball boy is making money from sports. Sports
Mental.
journalist is making money from sports. Sports lawyer, agents, player representatives. Who else? Footballers, sportsmen are not even making the money. Anything you think works in the real world, there's a chance for you in sports. So that's the idea.
So welcome to Bios.
Thank you.
All right. So tell me about your childhood. Where are you from?
Um, my childhood, depending on what you want to know, actually. Okay. I was raised by a single mom, but she never. I was never far from my dad, but I was raised by a single mom, and my parents were always fighting because my mom is this independent woman. She wants things to work, and she has ambitions. Apparently, where I got my ambition thing from, and my dad is calm-headed, very logical, very logical, emotional when it needs to be, but very logical. So like occasionally, at least these are some of the things I can remember about my childhood. My mom would go to his shop and like cause a hassle over some payments and stuff, and they would argue, and I'll just be sitting there under the tree, and I'm like, why are these guys arguing? Like, what's wrong with these two guys? Like, what's their problem? And then after a while, my mom got bored. She got tired of it. She got tired of the whole because I was complaining that why that she doesn't need it. Okay, the other day I was like, you don't need to be doing this. Just let's face ourselves.
How old were you then?
I was young.
Okay.
I was young. I just know I was before primary five, and I was like, just don't worry. Just let's face life. But yeah,
Okay.
I used to spend a lot of my holidays with my cousins because mom was a teacher. So holiday period for me was holiday period for her, and she can't be going through her sort of work every day, and then during the holiday period she has to face me. So the easiest option for her was to dispatch me to my cousins. So yeah,
Going to your dad's was never an option for the holidays.
huh?
Going to your dad's for the holidays was never an option.
With time it became an option
Okay.
in my when I got to high school from my JS2 started becoming an option. I don't know. My mom prioritized me not being far from my dad. That's the one thing about both of my parents. I realized that okay, these guys they loved each other, but just didn't work.
Yeah.
It's just a situation of it just didn't work. And the older I grow, the more I understand why their dynamics doesn't work. Because my stepmom, God forgive her, she just died like 2 months ago. My stepmom is the type of woman I think I would actually want to marry to because she's the stay at home, take care of the kids, make sure the husband comes home and eats type of person. My mom is the I have responsibilities and I need to make my responsibilities like I need to be responsible for my responsibilities kind of person. So I don't think she would have ever thrived under a husband that wanted her to like stay at home. But I don't think I'll marry a career woman myself.
Why?
Because a lot of times I wanted my mom like I would just call my mom and I'm like, what's up? I just want to check on you. And she's busy thinking, "Ah, oh no, not another billion." And I'm like, no, fam. It's the same thing with both of my parents. For a long time, when I call them, they just think it's I'm like, no, it's not as if you guys even know what's happening. I just want to know what's happening with you guys. And like from a very young age, I decided that anything I was going to do when I become old, I was going to make sure that I was rich enough for me to have time for myself, my family. Like there's no work in this life that I'm going to do that will take me away from. Once I decide that this work is going to take me away from my family for too long, nah, I'm not doing it. It's the reason why I have so many brands that are more like freelancing. I enjoy freelancing work more than so that I can have that time. Yeah. So
How did it make you feel? The
how
whole
do they
family.
make me
No,
feel?
how did it make you feel? The whole family dynamics. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm a very loving person. I have so much love to give everybody. So uh, at first I didn't like my dad because I was like, this guy abandoned me and my mom. You know that feeling of abandonment. But I was lucky that my mom is not was, my mom is a very smart person and she's emotionally intelligent. Like, which is what basically my mom is the emotionally intelligent person. My dad is the logically and situational intelligent person. So I have the best of both worlds in both of them. So yeah, for a long time I used to see my dad as who's this nigga? And then after a while, when I started spending holidays with him, and then after my high school, before OAU delayed like in 2015, OAU, we had like this 1 year before we resumed
Yeah.
school. So like during that period, I used to go from home, from my mom's place. I didn't like spending holidays at my dad's place because I would go there, I would tell them about like, okay, it's a lot of story, really. Because
Okay.
grandpa is my guardian. His family is literally more affluent. It's like I was in a case where I grew up with someone that was more affluent than my father. But you can't blame him. He's an old man. He has lived life. He has raised children. He has raised wonderful people. And my father is just this young man starting life. So I think I was lucky in the sense where my upbringing was outsourced to grandpa.
Yeah.
So I made up my mind that I would not spend holidays at my dad's place because whenever I told them stories of things that happened in grandpa's place, they couldn't comprehend it.
What
Like
stories though?
me telling them that Wale Shenka comes over to sleep in the house, and they're like, "Nigga, why are you lying?" And then I think there was a time like, so what happened? I was in the car with my dad one day, and he was asking me that why don't I like coming to his house? I'm like, your house, they don't believe me. I'm like, I'm not even saying it to sound cool to these guys. I'm just like, this is me. I'm like, it's the same way I am with people. If you tell me something, I don't doubt you. I won't doubt you.
Yeah.
Even if I feel like you're lying, I won't doubt you. But I just put it that don't worry, the truth will come out. Let's follow your narrative. And if you're lying, we would know. If you're not lying, we would know. So because I don't like people doubting me too, because I say a lot of things that you won't believe.
What
But
was
it's
your
real.
grandpa like?
Huh?
Your grandpa?
But grandpa, man, wonderful.
Yeah.
Because crazy thing is, he's not my biological grandfather, but he was ready to adopt me. But the only reason why he didn't adopt me was because my father was alive. He was like, it doesn't make sense. Like if he dies, that I will just be stranded. So that's the only reason why I wasn't adopted by him. But I'm not his it was just a my life has been one of just realizing that you need to keep doing good things every time, like at every point, whether you like it or not, whether you can or not. Although me, there are sometimes I'll be like, oh man, I will be a bad person in this situation. But like at 90% of the time, strive to be kind
Yeah.
because it's kindness that brought my mom to meet the man and stuff like that. Okay, so like my mom was a teacher, like I said. She had an uncle. She was pregnant with me in my at my uncle's at our uncle's place. Our uncle was rich, so but the moment she got pregnant, he booted her out of the house, and so she was teaching in one primary school, and so there was a child that had sickle cell in the school, and my mom was like the only teacher, like the kid would go home and every sentence of school is my mom's name, like this woman. And they're like, oh, this teacher. So one day, grandpa was having a walk in the estates.
Yeah.
And then while he was having his walk, something happened. He fell into the gutter. And everybody was just like, hey, yeah, hey, yeah, yeah. But my mom was the person that was like, daddy, pele, this one, that one, this one. I mean, on me too. I have a father at home like you. Carried him with his clothes and everything, took him to his house, took care of him. And then the man was like, who are you? And then they started talking. And I was like, oh, you are the same teacher that like this child is always coming to talk about. In and then and they went on and on and on. I realized she was having issues with accommodation because she had a child and stuff like that. And then I think as at that period, she had already given birth to me, and I was living with my grandmother in the village. I'm like, fun fact, I was actually breastfed by my grandmother.
Oh, wow.
That's how young I was when I had to, because mom had to hustle and she was still schooling also. So he gave her a place in his house, and that's where we lived till he died. Even my mom refused to move, even when I was very close with grandpa. Everybody knows I'm grandpa's best friend. In fact, till grandpa died, I never knew he was my best friend till he died, and everybody knew that Onikepo and grandpa, if they have issue, don't you cannot go and you cannot merge between them.
Did he give you a
But
name?
I wanted to leave the house.
Did he give you a name?
No, he just I was just a young boy living in his house that he loved.
Um,
So, but my mom gave me Onikepo
yeah.
because apparently when she was pregnant, a young woman has been kicked out of the house as a teacher. Nobody's taking care of her now. So she used to tell me about how she used to, this railway. Have you ever been to Lagos? Okay, there's this railway in Ikeja along the airport road. She used to tell me how she used to sell clothes on that railway and stuff like that. Like when she was pregnant, and then people would just take care of her. People would just give her stuff, and like when she was pregnant, like people she never knew just showed her love. So when she was giving birth, she was like, "This child, your name is going to be," because Onikepo literally means like many are those who give you care. So she was like, literally, your name is going to be Onikepo, and yeah. So basically, that's how my mom she got the place. So even when I started growing up and I wanted my own space, and I was like, oh, this woman, let's leave this house. You don't love this man more than me. Yeah, I'm sure everybody knows that you don't love this man more than me, but like let's leave this house. My mother was like, no, we have to stay in this house for as long as possible. Apart from the economic factor, the fact that we're literally the only ones protecting him. The children are children, not that they don't care. They care about their father. They care so much about their father that the closest person to him, one of his daughters, she used to come around. At least she used to try to come around at least once a week to see her father. But they were not. They are busy people. I mean, most of his children don't even live in the country. So and the rest of the people in the house are domestic workers. So and these domestic workers, every opportunity they will steal. So like we're like my mom and I were like the only reason why they didn't have that opportunity to like you know, go AWire because the crazy thing is me, I didn't really care. I didn't used to report them. I used to see them. I don't know how. I just used to catch them, but I never spoke. I never said anything, and they didn't like me because they're like you're not this man's child, but this man gives you so much privilege, and they like try to like break into this thing, but it just didn't happen because I don't know. Funny thing is, for like my first couple of months living in the house, grandpa was indifferent about me. It was grandma that was my friend like that. Grandma used to love burnt toast. Like I toast had to be burnt for her to enjoy it. Grandma used to, and I used to hate it. Like, what the fuck is it? What the hell is this? Yeah. So I didn't really move into the house until after like grandma had died.
Grandma died.
Yeah. She died in 2003.
Died first. When grandpa died?
Grandma died on my birthday,
When?
2019. That one had a great life, really. He was born January. He was born January 11, 1930. He died December 18th. Like he was born beginning of the year, died end of the year. So he's the definition of he's the kind of person that if God still had prophets, he would probably have been seen as a prophet because like he had that kind of life. He prioritized kindness. Like all the people I'm around prioritize kindness. Even my father that I see as not really emotionally intelligent, my father is very kind. My father will still do things out of kindness, even if he feels that logically what he's doing does not make any sense, but he will do it out of kindness. So prioritize kindness. Always be kind. It doesn't cost you anything. It's like there's this saying that kindness is like a coin you throw into the sea. You never know when it will come back. And it always comes back when you least expect it and when you need it the most. So kindness. But I'm a bad person. I'm a wicked person.
How do you say so?
When people realize that you're kind, they tend to overstep their bounds.
Yeah.
So for you to unlock my kindness, you need to be worth it. It's not as if everybody needs to be worth it. There are some people I will do things for. Like I am not expecting anything from you. So those ones I can easily do. People that I'm not expecting anything from, I can easily do things for them. But people I'm expecting something from, they are the ones I would. hold accountable the most. So because I want something from you,
Yeah.
that is when I would not I would not give you more because I want more from you. I'll make you work for I'll make you work for it.
Okay. So, how was school, uni?
School, for a long time I didn't want to I didn't want to school.
Yeah.
But I grew up in a house where I don't want to say this, it's not like I'm bragging, but like grandpa was the first librarian of OAU. It was the first like Nigerian librarian. After the white people left, he was the first librarian. It was the one that named Ezekiah. He the backstory was that Ezekiah was the one that like funded the library because the library had to like apply for funds from the school before they could buy books. And then when Ezekiah became VC, he was like, nah, we can't be doing that. The library is supposed to be like the background of the school, and like the library is supposed to like have its own funding. So when Ezekiah came in, the library got a lot of money, and like he could travel. He was one that made me realize that corruption is not internal in a black man. Corruption is triggered by white men.
How so?
Because he told me like back then when he traveled to the US, he would just go out of his hotel room and go to the bar and like he wants to get a drink. And then next thing a white man is already waiting for him. They already got the info from someone back home or something. And they're just waiting for him at the bar and they would just pay for his drinks. And they would come and tell him that okay, if you buy the books from us, we'll give you like 10% or 20% of whatever I'll buy from you. And he'll be like, excuse my French, you'll be like, nah, fuck you. I'm not doing that. And then he will go through the proper sources, which is most times more expensive, buy it, send it back to the school and stuff. So I learned things like being honest from grandpa.
Yeah. You really love them, man.
Yeah, I do. I actually like old people. I grew up with a lot of old people, from my grandma, from my biological grandma to grandpa to I just had the bond with old people. There was this grandma in our estate. She I don't, for some weird reasons she just gave me 10 pairs of white socks. Like
Really?
10 pairs of white. And I just came home and my mom was like, Grandma wants to see you. And I went to her house and she just gave me 10 pairs of white socks. I'm like, okay. I don't know why, but it felt like a very nice gift. Like I had 10 pairs of white socks. So that's kind of bond I have with I just naturally connect with
Like
old people.
people.
That's why
So,
I'm not impressed by a lot of things too. And I used to be very brutally honest.
old people have that thing about them.
Yeah, old people they've influenced me with that. Like they've seen everything, so they what are you saying that really entices them? So negatively and positively, I pick that up. So sometimes when people are telling me something, I'm like, why is this one hyped? Like, well, there's really nothing to this thing I hyped about. And at the same time, I'm like, okay, wow, it's the little things. Old people made me realize that it's the little things that matter. It's really the little things that matter. Old people don't care if you buy them a car. Papa will tell you that if you buy him expensive shoe, where is he wearing it to? He'll be like, I have a lot of nice shoes, but I'm not wearing them anywhere. So buy me books, buy me. In his older years, he spent his money on mostly food and he couldn't read anymore, so he started spending his money on you know giving back. So according to school, I didn't like school. I didn't want school. I wanted I wanted to play football. I wanted to play football. But in that house, my mother is a teacher. My father is an educationist. You can never you can't work. So as I when I was in SS3, I never knew what I wanted to do. But I loved history. I've always been curious. I grew up in a house where I was the only child. The other people are domestic staff. My mother is rarely at home. When grandpa was still ill and healthy, he used to work. So I had the whole house to myself. And like
And he
our
had lots of
house,
books, right?
what do you
Grandpa
say?
had lots of books.
Yeah, the house was literally a library. Like we had rooms of books. Like so the way the house is, I don't know architectural terms, but like the house was there's a downstairs, there's upstairs, and then there's the backyard. So the upstairs is where everybody lived. The boys' quarters was where I'm and my mom lived. But I spent most of my times upstairs. So downstairs is like his study, his office, because he used to like ship newspapers to like universities abroad and stuff like that. He used to like sometimes they will need a book that he can't get outside and he can only get it, probably a book from a Nigerian author or stuff. So he's the one that will like arrange it and send it to like schools like Stanford and stuff like that. So but downstairs was just books, like books. So sometimes I'll just go and I'm like I'm bored during the holiday. I was never really a TV person. I didn't like TVs because even from when I was young, when my mates used to be like, Harry Potter, this, I would watch Harry Potter and sleep off. I would watch Lord of the Rings and sleep off. In fact, the first time I watched Lion King was 2018 January. Lion King 1. That was the first time I completed it. I cried. Cried. Even though it took that long, I still cried when I watched it. But I was a books person, but I didn't like school. Because even right from primary school, I used to zone out. I used to zone out from classes. I'm like, I just look out of the window and I'm gone. When I was in high school, it was worse. I
Do you
would
think
travel from Jos, travel to Lagos in my mind, and then travel back to Jos and stuff like that.
do you think it's because school was just bad? Like you had really wacky lecturers, wacky teachers.
No, I've always been judged.
Yeah.
That's the thing. That's the reality. I don't want to sound like I have main character syndrome, but like I've literally always been judged for just being me. Because the way it was is that human beings are crazy. Someone can be more privileged than you and still hate you because you have just one advantage. Like the person can have 10 advantages in one field, and just because you have one, the person will judge you. So like people who knew how affluent grandpa was in the environment and had their kids in my school, they didn't like me and because my mom was a single mom who never had my time per se. Although my mom still had my time. It's just crazy. Like it's all a paradox. Some people didn't like me because of the fact that I was living in a house with grandpa. Some of them knew who he was. Me, I didn't know I didn't know who grandpa was until like I didn't start knowing the weight of who this man was till like 2018, 2019. Like 2 years to his death. That's when I started realizing, oh wow, this man knows this person. In fact, it was on his burial, like during his burial, I actually knew that damn this nigga like this nigga, who is this nigga? Like what see the people in your wedding, you see the people in your burial. I'm like, where were all these people when you were alive? But school for me was they just never taught what I liked. I was this kind of student that I was an art student. I wasn't doing biology. I didn't do economics. I did plain arts. I did history. I didn't do government. I did history. I did geography. I just did the courses I liked, the courses that appealed to me, things that I like, I genuinely liked.
We're
And
told to
then,
pick this classes.
what do you say?
We're told to pick the subject.
Yeah, the way my high school is you're allowed. No, the way my high school is there's a curriculum. There are subjects. You can pick the subjects. And as long as the student is offering that subject, as long as the student has picked that subject, they will find a teacher for it. Yeah, it was a military school, so very efficient in just. So as long as you chose that course, they will find a teacher for it.
Sorry, you went to military school.
Air Force.
Why? Like from where did you grow up again?
I grew up in Lagos,
Lagos to
but I
Jos.
was shipped to
Why?
my mom needed to grow now. And recently, one of my uncles confessed that he was one of the people that not necessarily uncle, my mom's cousin, but it's my uncle. He's very close to me. And my mom used to say like the guy doesn't even accept people in his circle. So I'm like one of those few family members that has like his this thing. So he was like, I mean, only child, stubborn motherfucker. It was when I was young I realized that Cain does not solve problems because my mom used to flog me every day, but I would still do the same thing she used to flog me for. So they had to ship. If they didn't ship me to my high school, I probably would have been super undisciplined, super undisciplined because I'm a boy. After a while, my mom can't give me. In fact, when I was 13, I stopped seeing my mom's orders. What are you saying? You're a woman. I didn't see that you're a woman. But I'm like, what's this woman saying? You can't handle me. I'm stronger than you at this age. Because like sometimes you just beat me. I'm like, what's this? I'm like, you're so cute. Like, there was a day she hit me. I was like, like, I literally told her that. You think this thing will touch me? I said, you know this can flog me in school. And she just laughed. She was like,
Oh yeah, it's still military school.
and she was like, boy, you're not serious. So that's how me and my mom are. There was this one time she was complaining that she left, that I would just enter the house, that she will cook meats and I will eat all the meats, or she will put money somewhere and I'm like, who else is living with you in the house? If I don't carry it, who wants to carry it? Why are you asking me whether I carry your money or whether I ate the meat? You're not at home. I'm the only one that's at home. If I don't eat it, Please tell me who will. And she just laughed about it and she stopped complaining. And after that, I stopped. I actually reduced the way I was.
Stressing her out.
Yeah,
Are you guys close? Or
yeah,
are
my
you guys
mom.
still close? Yes. Was it mostly fights? Were
This
you
kind
able
of
to find a
information
way?
that Batman shouldn't beat out of you. But like, I literally grew up in a single room with my mom. We used to share the same mattress. You know that Dave line where he was like, he knew his life was a drama when he used to share a bed with his mom and he used to bed wet. I can relate. I can relate. But like, as the older I grew and I started going to high school, my high school was filled up with rich kids. I had princes in my class. I had boys that like I used to calculate that like there was one guy that used to collect 10K a week as his allowance. And I'm like, what do you even need 10K a week in boarding school? Like, what are you buying? Like, what the fuck are you, what are you buying? Like, I'm like, this guy literally makes more money than my mom, like in a month or in like a calendar year. And I'm like, but it really helped me. It really developed some values in me. It was in high school I made up my mind that I would not steal. I would not steal. Like I made up my mind that in anything I was going to do, I was going to make sure that my earnings was going to be fair. Although I derailed along later in life, but I was, when you already have a very solid background, home training is good. Home training will always come back. When people say they don't flog their children, I'm like, you're just whining yourself because that child that you don't flog, my mom doesn't flog me anymore, but some of the flogging she gave me back then, some of the things that used to guide me now, but not just flog your child. Always know when to talk, know when to flog them. In fact, let the flogging be the least, let the talking be the more. But when you flog them, like you flog them at a time where they themselves they will know that yes, this person is crazy for flogging me, but I deserve it. And one crazy thing, one thing that didn't make me take school serious right from when I was in primary school was when they used to ask me like, what do you want to be? A lot of people that know me know this. I used to say I wanted to be an astronaut, and they'll be like, astronaut, and I'm like, yes, I want to be an astronaut, and they're like, you're in Nigeria, you can't be an astronaut. It's hard for you to be an astronaut. So I think I didn't know then, but now, like now that I'm growing up and I'm studying my own self, I realized that it really messed with me because of the fact that people used to tell me that I can't be an astronaut. I started changing. I had to change. When they asked me what do you want to be, I would say today pilot, tomorrow doctor, tomorrow this one, tomorrow that one, tomorrow this one. Then later in life, I found what I wanted to do again. They asked me what I wanted to become. I said I wanted to be a footballer. They said no, you can't be a footballer in Nigeria. So like I'm like, so why am I going to school? I'm just going to school to like, am I just going to school to please you guys? Okay, okay. Since I'm going to school to please you guys, I'll do it on my own terms. In high school, right from my JS1, in fact, right from my primary school, my notes were never complete. Do you know how crazy it is for you to have incomplete notes in primary school? Like my notes were rarely complete. And there's some subjects the crazy thing is, maths, for example, I didn't like maths. My average results in maths used to be, before I started taking my life serious, my average results in maths used to be E, D, E, D, E, D, C at best. And I didn't like cheating in exams. I've cheated in a couple of exams, I won't lie. But like I didn't like it. And the times I cheated, I had to cheat. But there was this one time in SS2. So the way like my high school is we're in your SS2, all the Air Force schools, they write like a joint promotion exam, JPE. So like on that year, a lot of us failed so much that they had to make us rewrite it because that number was just it was just illegal for that amount to fail. So they made us write it, and I actually took my time to study maths and I actually got a B. Like in the exam, I didn't look at anybody. Like from the moment they gave me my question papers to the end, I knew that English was never my problem. I never failed English at any point in school. But that maths, as they just gave me my question paper, I told myself that entering this exam hall, I'm not looking at anybody. I'm not asking anybody for anything unless what I need, maybe like a ruler or something. And I made sure to like have everything. And I wrote the exam. When the results came out, I had a B. So at that point, I realized that I'm not a dullard. Like maths is not my problem. I just don't have
Interest.
the interest to like
Yeah.
I'm not going to be an astronaut, so I don't need the math. So yeah, when I was leaving high school, I didn't know what I wanted to do. and I didn't know, but I knew I was going to come to OAU because, of course,
Grandpa.
grandpa here now. And then I was like, "Ah, what courses?" I was going through the jam brochure, and I was like, what courses? What courses can I study? And I didn't see anything that caught my interest as an art student. I was like, okay, I guess I'll just, and it was getting late, and I was like, okay, I guess I'll just go for history because grandpa studied history too. And I was like, yeah, I guess I'll just go for history. And then I was so hyped, like I was so fucking hyped that I wanted to study history because I had this expectation in my head that we're going to do stuff like carbon dating. We're going to like learn how to like when you see a material, you can track back its history, or we're going to do stuff like archaeology. And that way you like this, just writing notes, just writing notes and notes and notes. And then my first year, I met this guy that was former sports director, Olua Michael, big guy. And I saw this guy, I always wake up every day, just wearing sportswear. Bro, what's up? Where are you going to now? He's going to class. Like, you're going to class like this. Which department? He said PHE. I said, bro, in this school there's PHE. He said, yes. I said, what do I need to transfer? Yeah, he said, as long as you pass jam and you like you have all the primary courses. I said, are you serious? I don't need biology. He said, yes. I don't need economics. He said, yes. I said, don't worry, you see me in your department next session. But I made a mistake. I didn't take leave of absence. I didn't know that as a part one student, you could actually take leave of, you could actually do your transfer when you're entering part two. So my part two, I still spent part two in history. I failed French. I was really pure history student. Like I think I was no, we're like six or so pure history. Others were combining history and inter, but I did pure history. So like if you are doing pure history, you have to take French by force. 10 units. I wasn't going to class. I failed 10 units. I failed the 10 units. But at that time, I knew I was going to leave the department. It was, but my transition was easy because we just won Faculty of Arts Corp, so they let me go. So when people tell me that, when I tell people that I left history for PhD, some people just look at me, maybe because you're dull, and I'm like, oh, no, not really. I actually spent like 8 years studying history. It got boring to me, and I was like, I used to ask myself that this history that I'm studying, where is it going to take me? Okay, I know that if I want to like work in an embassy and stuff, like, okay, I realized that once again, I'm not bragging. I realized that like if I want to work in a multinational like agency, I can get that, like God has blessed me with that kind of connection. But like I realized the kind of work is office work, learning a lot, doing masters,
You're not that
doing
kind
this
of
one,
person.
doing that one. And I'd already promised myself a long time ago that I was going to be a freelancer all my life. So I was like, oh no, PhD it is, PhD it is.
So, was there anybody, or is there anybody in your family that has this adventurous kind of spirit? Or
Adventure kind of spirit.
yes, or your mom? Oh yeah, yeah, true.
My mother used to travel. My mother used to travel a lot.
Yeah.
My mother imbibed the spirit of traveling. And my mother is this, my mother is a woman that she had no husband, so she had to fill up her free time. And she was a teacher. School was stressing her out. She needed to like
Mhm.
enjoy herself.
So your sole reason for wanting to be a freelancer,
What do you say?
your sole reason for wanting to be a freelancer is to have enough time to focus on things you love, like your family, like your art, things
Yeah.
like that. Yeah. Huh. That's kind of sweet. Okay, so where are you right now in life?
Okay.
Hmm.
So I had this idea in high school, yeah,
Yeah.
that my class had we had a football league. We had a football league that we had been developing since like our SS1. We had been playing it. What's crazy about it is that in my school, just like we literally live the military life, wear khaki, wear boots. Your seniors can just call you and tell you, hey, that bastard, come here, pin your head on the ground, or hey, that bastard, enter this gutter. Your seniors, we fear our seniors more than the instructors. Do you understand? And so my school was 60% academic, 40% military. When you people are doing Children's Day holiday, we don't do Children's Day holiday. When you are doing this holiday, we don't do it. It's only the military recognized holidays we had. So we had a class league, and normally in SS1 is supposed to be your hardest life in that school because your SS2s want to show you Pepe that you're not a senior boy, and you're living with SS3. So the way they divided the school is there's junior school and there's senior school. In junior school, you have GS1, GS3, SS2. The senior school is in the same school, it's the same compound, but it's distance. The school is big. The school was former airport in Jos, so like they have that land to do anything they want. So the senior school is GS2, SS1, and SS2. So as a senior student in senior school, as an SS1 boy, you're literally a small boy too. The only difference between you is that there are just two boys, and there are some things just two boys can't do. SS3s will not give just two boys clothes to go and wash. It's SS1 boy they will give it to. But somehow, I've always been in a set of people that we just always strive. Whenever I'm in a group of people, that's why I strongly believe that my generation, like people tell me that sometimes people tell me I'm delusional, but I tell people that my generation, like when we turn to fathers, when we become fathers, we're the ones that will actually like this country, like all these things people are saying that Nigeria is rotten and stuff. Like I just have that conviction that when me, my classmates, my friends, people I don't know, when we get there, things will become easy. And like we'll just I always tell my guys that one day we'll carry cane and enter all this ministry of sport and stuff. We'll flog those guys out. I used to tell them, and they think I'm joking. We'll not flog them literally, but like I tell them that like our generation is that generation that is going to make life smooth. And it has always been like that. It has always been like that. When I was in history, my class was were the best football sets. Were always more. Anytime I enter a place, my class were always population wise, were always more, talent wise, were always like it just always happens to be like that. Even when I
Was
was in
that way
PHE, it
in
was like that.
your primary school? Did you lead stuff? Were you like head of this class captain?
I was supposed to be the head boy, but I was so fucking stubborn. They had to settle. They had to give me timekeeper because I used to get to the school before the bursar.
Ah,
I used to get to school before they opened school. So my momsi was we were living in Lagos.
yeah.
Momsi was working in Ogun State,
So you
so
guys
she had
had
to
to.
wake up early to go. So 5 a.m. I'm awake. I used to wake up 5 a.m. in primary
Yeah.
school. Yes,
So anywhere you go to, things just have to change for the better. Yeah.
yeah. Crazy thing is, my primary school to my house is like campus gate to that church in Asherifa. No,
Mm.
no, no. From campus gate to like the Ganga. That's the distance from my house to my primary school. But I woke up 5 a.m. to go to school. I used to get to school by like 6. So there was one incident that happened in primary school that they just decided that they were not going to give me head boy because everybody in my class knew that I was head boy now. Sports wise, I'm there. Academically, I wasn't the best academically because I started zoning. The more I grew up, the more I zoned out from academics. So, but my worst result was like 10th in class. But after I fucked up, I didn't. After I fucked up, I was giving timekeeper in high school. I didn't choose appointments because I began to realize that appointments didn't mean shit. Okay, in my high school, I actually chose an appointment. I wanted to be the Daniel prefect. I actually wanted to be the Daniel prefect. That was the only thing I aspired for. I like food, yes. But it was not because I liked food, but it was because I liked fairness. And dining, I felt like the Daniel was the only place you could actually show people fairness. Because if you sit down, people know that if you sit down, if I'm on my table, everybody always wants me to share the food. Because the way it is one person, they will just tell, everything is mechanical in my school. We enter the dining hall at a certain time. Although boys used to, boys will always be boys. But you enter the dining hall at a certain time, you'll be given the order for one person to get up and serve the food. When they finish serving the food, they will give the order for one Muslim and one Christian to get up and pray. Then when they pray, you'll be given your order to eat. And there's a time limit for you to eat. Max 20-25 minutes. We are out of the dining hall. So if you're on my dining tables, they usually prefer me serving
Yeah.
because of I don't know. They just felt like this guy won't cheat anybody.
Yeah.
So although I used to cheat them once in a while because they used to fuck up too. But like, but 90% of the time they could rely on me to
Yeah.
serve them according to what was inside the pot.
Okay, so back
But they
to where
cheated me,
you.
sha. That was the first time I experienced tribalism
Really?
from the appointments.
Yeah.
Yeah, like like everybody, all my seniors and my juniors and my classmates knew that in my set, everybody was like, this guy's going to be our Daniel prefect now because my guardian in part 1 was the Daniel NCO.
Yeah.
NCO in the military is not commissioned officer. So my guardian was the Daniel NCO when I was so I already had that influence of always being at the Daniel. I knew the kitchen women, we used to help them. Sometimes my guardian would just come. maybe they are doing one blanket putty. And guy will just come pack all of us, take us to Daniel, and would help them in the Daniel instead of doing the general putty. And then so since my SS1, like I used to help them. Like I literally used to help the kitchen women in the Daniel. Like sometimes I would go there and make sure like the place is clean and stuff. And then when I got to SS2 third term, the guy that was the current Daniel prefect, I went to go and meet the guy and I was like, yo, that's why I don't like you Kogi people. And I was like, yo, Professor Ruma, official intent. I was like, I want to be the Daniel Junior NCO. And next thing this guy told me was that he can't give it to me. That he already promised someone else. And I was like, and like, I don't know why I'm like that. When I'm the most pissed, I just smile. And I just smiled and I was like, oh, okay. I was pained, but I was like, okay. And I left. And then I just stopped chasing appointments. But looking back now, I realized why God made it like that. Because if I was the Daniel NCO, my classmates wouldn't have thought it to give me the. I was made president of the football competition that we have been building since I was SS1. They wanted to change the former guy, so they did an anonymous vote. As usual, I was not in my class because they started the voting from my class, but I was not in my class. I was in technical class, so they had gone around the other three classes already, and apparently I'd already won in those other three classes. I was busy making noise in technical class now. So when they came to technical class and they're like, these are the candidates for the new FIFA, FIFA president, they call them. Candidates for the new FIFA president. My name was the last name. As they called my name like this, like everybody's hands just went, this guy, oh my goodness. I didn't know how to feel. I was feeling myself, and at the same time, I was like, this guy is sure about this thing. And then next, he just brought the book to my desk, and I'm like, congrats. I hit the ground running. And then because of that, I started thinking on how to improve the league. Before, boys were just playing it for fun. And then I introduced financial aspect to it. I introduced transfer window. We started selling because some people had been playing for their teams since SS1. I was like, no, some teams are just too strong. Okay, I introduced transfer window. You can sell one player to the other club. You can buy players. I introduced fine for offenses because some people were rough. So I introduced fines. I introduced some rules. You can't play without shoes. You must wear shoes. Whether it's sandals, you must wear sandals. I introduced people started buying boots eventually. I introduced rules, and eventually the peak was I sold the clubs. There were 8 teams. I was able to sell 6 or 7 of them for 1K each, and I sold them to people that didn't even used to watch ball. People that didn't play ball. I was like, yeah, you like this particular team. Your friends are on this team. I mean, almost everybody on this team is your friend. Just buy the team. I'm like, okay, how much is it? 1K? Oh yeah, take the 1,000 naira, and I sold the team. So money came to me. I was the president, but I made sure they never lacked like what they needed, balls and stuff like that. So back to the question where I am. So in my SS3, I was sleeping in class as always. That I'm sleeping or I'm making noise or I'm reading a novel. I don't used to read my school books. If you catch me reading a novel, but before you catch me reading my school book, oh man, it's hard. So I was sleeping, and then in my sleep I had a dream, and then I woke up and I was like, okay, this is what I'm going to do in my life.
What was it?
What I'm currently working on. So it's like it's a sports organization. I realized that I grandpa inspired me to do sports right from when I was young because we had TV in our house when a lot of people didn't have DSTV. So I used to watch tennis. I used to watch cricket. Cricket is one of the most boring sports. I said it. Cricket is one of the most boring sports ever. I used to watch cricket. I used to watch tennis. Used to watch football. Used to watch any sport they showed on DSTV back then. So sports. This is me. This is sports. Everybody knows that this guy loves sports. My friends used to whine me say that they won't be surprised if I wear football boots on my wedding day. So I realized that even the people that don't like me, the moment it comes to sports, they put aside all their personal sentiments and try to make things work. When we're in the same team, you want to play with me. You're not thinking about I don't like this guy. You will shall play with me. Even if you did not choose me, the fact that you found yourself in my team, you will play with me, you will cooperate with me. If I score a goal, they did not born you were not come and hug me. You will celebrate with me like you scored the goal. If we lose, all of us will feel sad. If someone makes a mistake, all of us will yab the person together. So I realized that sports is the only thing that actually breaks all barriers. It's the only, like, there's nothing else you want to point to me in this life that breaks barriers more than sports. Sports breaks economic barriers, social barriers, language barriers, religious barriers. Like, people are ready to forget who they are when sports is involved. So I feel like and I feel like your sports teams is a very good indicator of the kind of mindset you have in your country. It shows kind of where you are thinking in your country. Because I mean, right from time, man has always prioritized supremacy over others, and they use sports to do that. So I made up my mind. I was going to have a school. I was going to build a school that was going to be 60% academics, 40% sports. So in the sense that like the way my high school
Yeah.
was, military training and stuff, you guys are wearing sports kits and stuff. In the morning, instead of morning PT, you guys will go for a morning jog. Then after your morning jog, I'll give you an hour to sleep. Then by 7, you go to class. By 12, you have a break. So like so the way it's going to be is like our art class, our science class. I'm going to do, basically I'm lifting AFMS, I'm turning it into my school. So our art class, our science class, our commercial class, our technical class is going to be like every other school. If you go and write jam, is what this person is writing, you are writing. But the way it is going to be is when we ask you to write a comprehension in English, you are going to write a comprehension sports based. When we are teaching you biology, we're going to teach you biology sports based. When we are teaching you physics and telling you that what is the range of motion of something, 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 we are going to be using sports. What is the range of motion from a ball to from this place to this place? If a player makes a turn and this one, calculate his distance, energy used, it's going to be sports. Like everything is sports. When our technical students, their final year SS3 project is you are going to build something, you are going to build something in our sports complex. Probably something as simple as substitute benches or workouts boxes or stuff like that. So that's the aim of the school. Now, this is why, apart from the football skill, so you don't need to be physically fit to thrive in the school. You understand? For our literature students, we're not just going to be teaching them literature or read Shakespeare. You read Shakespeare, you read everything, but your exams are going to be like, give a commentary. We'll give you a game. We'll put you in a room and we'll give you a game and we'll put it on mute and you write a commentary and then you go and record the commentary to that game and that's how we're going to assess you. So now the reason why we're doing that, the reason why Game Space is going to be doing that is that by the time you come to university, even if you're going to study medicine, when you're coming out, if you don't know what you want to do with your life, at least you will know that okay, sports is not just about Messi and Ronaldo. Sports is not just about LeBron James. It's not just about Roger Federer. I mean, the umpire is also making money from sports.
Yeah.
The ball boy is making money from sports. Sports
Commentators.
journalist is making money from sports. Sports lawyer, agents, player representatives. Who else? Footballers, sportsmen are not even making the money. Like I'll tell you that sportsmen are not the ones making the real money in sports. Like it's the people behind the stage. Yeah, you have sports teachers, you have medical rehabilitation experts, you have anything you think works in the real world. There's a chance for you in sports. So that's the idea. So I came up with the name in 2019. The name is Game Space. So right now, Game Space is organizing Futsal Fest on OAU campus. I've already organized two versions. Those two versions, I organized one in Asharifa, I organized one in Parakin. So right now I'm looking for. Let me use this to also pitch. I'm looking for a sponsor, like preferably like a fintech brand that is actually looking to grow. So I want to take it to campus. So the one on campus is I'm not just it's not just going to be a football event. I want to train my volunteers. I'm not just going to have volunteers who just stand. I'm going to train volunteers in social media management. I'm going to train volunteers in basic first aid because a lot of people don't know how to give first aid and people die every day from simple heart attack that someone could have just given them chest compression and how to like help them seal their wounds and stuff. So that's what Game Space is all about. Game Space is all about using sports to educate people. Yeah. Yeah, and I also have a tie-dye brand. Ikepo tag. But I know a lot of people that know me will be like, why did I talk about Ikepo tag? Because me, I see Ikepo tag as a project, and I'm putting this out in the future. In the next 5 years, Ikepo tag is going to be co-signed to Nike in 2028. Like, yes, it's going to get co-signed to Nike, and it's going to be like the biggest fashion collection collaboration ever. Like ever, ever, ever from Africa to the
You're
whole
just
world.
like your mom.
Yeah. And yeah,
I
that's
like
it.
it. Alrighty.
So I plan to
So,
sell it.
any last words for us? You're not dying, of course, but yeah.
Prioritize kindness. Prioritize
Like
kindness.
grandpa.
Prioritize kindness. And yeah, no matter how bad it is, finish school, finish your program, finish it, finish it. Finishing it is not just about finishing it is not just about you, it's not about your family members, it's not about the hardship, it's not about whether the country is bad. I learned this late. But when you finish school, you realize that okay, I'm not a bad person. One. And two, you should always realize that the reason why you are in school is basically the people you meet. Like I wouldn't have met a lot of people if I didn't come to school. A lot of intelligent people I've met. A lot of there are people in this OAU like you cannot imagine who they are in real life. Like I'm for real. Like you can't imagine who these guys are in real life. Some before, some now. Like there are some people I have rubbed shoulders with on OAU campus in my 7 years in this Ife that have blown. I mean, people like Black Bones, who, if you knew Black Bones in 2017, 2018, you won't believe that this guy, this guy is everywhere now. I mean, people like Bayani. If I give you the backstory of Bayani, you'll be surprised. So go to finish school. Finish school is crazy. I know Nigeria is mad. They don't appreciate your course or whatever you're studying, but finish it. When you finish it, there's a sense of fulfillment that you can never get from anywhere else. Never. Like you can never get. You cannot decide that you have retired. And while you're going through school, try and discover what makes you happy. Because at the end of the day, trust me, 90% of the time your degree doesn't matter. It's who you know and what you know, what you can do. Prioritize and skills. What you learn with your hands, you can never forget. Never forget. Thank you.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming on bios.
Yeah.
Alright.